Another week, another card, back in the warehouse. UFC Vegas 111. Somehow have Randy Brown headlining, taking on Gabriel Bonfim. Um, Weird card. We were coming off a nice film. We have Unk and Hothand with me, your host, mlmike, and we're here to get back after another profitable card in the books for us. Um, a lot of stuff we called to the T. A lot of stuff was questionable just off the opening gun. Even like the first fight, women's fight, Jacqueline Morm got the sub for us late first round, late third round. But we had a lot of snipes, a lot of live calls, and um move on to this one. Uh, Without further ado, we'll
Yeah,
get going.
I definitely want I, I I definitely want to say something though, just one quick thing before we start. Because I completely clunked out with my picks last week that I posted on the Discord, but we always say like disclaimer in this podcast, we said exactly what was going to happen in the Waldo Costa fight. Like, yeah, it was a funky restart, but we said what would happen in that fight, the Tarembo Garemba fight, and the last fight. I posted my plays and it wasn't that, but I hedged my shit for $5 and it ended up clinging over $200 back. So if you're going to listen to the podcast, check the Discord as well, but don't always just take what we say as pay for picks. That's not what we offer as a pay for picks service. So, thank
Yep,
you.
we'll get started here. This is with the newest bout. They was supposed to fight someone else. Now he's fighting Zach Reese here. The bottom of the barrel as we go again, but McVey, plus 235 favorite, just opening up on some books. Zach Reese opened up upwards of minus 500. Now he's crept back down to more realistic. Even now, I still think wide, short notice. I like McVey, what he brings to the table. He's a lengthy guy, has nice striking down the pipe. He has front chokes and stuff, but you don't know if it's going to be testable at well, it's not tested, but you don't know if it's going to be there at this level. I'm decently high on him. I remember actually taking him against Bruno Ferreira, taking my lumps there, but I think he looked good in the first round. The feet taking his time, slipped off the back, and then ends up getting subbed. Zachary, I'm not high on here. I do think that he has a path to try to wrestle and possibly stay on top. Not huge on his power. I think he could possibly catch Jackson McVey. That's because Jackson McVey is still kind of green. Um, Prediction wise, like I wouldn't tell you ever to bet on Zach Reese at these odds, at the minus 500 odds. Even if it was, I don't know, I don't like him. He's not a reliable fighter. I think he's very low level, and I'm not going to take him here against Jackson McVey. I think it's a dog or pass type of scenario for me. There's still a lot I want to see from McVey, and I'm just not going to pay up on juice for Zach Reese on short notice. And I don't think it's a very smart thing to do long term. And I think you can pay a couple dollars for the dog. If it doesn't hit, shit, you'll make it back in another fight where you're more confident. Maybe a long shot on like a Zach Reese, um, by knockout. I like unders here, but I haven't seen any lines for them. Fight's pretty new. I think this fight can end within the first 10 minutes. How do you feel about this one, hot hand?
Yeah, we got McVey again, a finisher. Zach Reese, who's a finisher, who has good wrestling as well. I mean, I could see a few different outcomes for this fight. I could see Reese wrestling into a submission of McVey's because he got the length and he knows how to use it. He's also very good in the clinch, where I could see him throwing knees or an elbow and finishing Zach Reese. But I don't like either money line here on each side, with McVey being new to the UFC and Reese is never a good fighter to take over minus 200. So I think a under is probably your best bet in this scenario, with both of them being finishers.
How about you, Unk?
So I don't have a best bet because this actually is not listed on DraftKings, this fight, but I know who Jackson Mcvey is from us watching him on Contender Series, and I know who Zach Reese is. Um, I'm just gonna piggyback off that they are both finishers. Zach Reese, if he would get the finish, would come from wrestling and then probably ground and pound, and holding McVey in a situation that he can't get out of. But Jackson McVey is pretty decent at jiu-jitsu. He's also really tall. and can use his striking to his advantage. So I think the under or the fight to not go the distance, which is probably astronomical. I don't have odds in front of me. Would be your best bet to go, but this isn't listed on my phone on DraftKings right now, as of Thursday.
Yeah, it just came out recently. But we'll keep it moving until odds are obviously available. We'll talk more in the Discord on it, but we move on to a pretty exciting fight, and I'm just a little bit surprised that it's this high up on the card at a prelim, or I guess low on the card. But you have Miles Johns taking on Daniel Marcos. And but both of these guys coming off of a loss. Miles Johns coming off of a close decision loss to Gene Matsumoto, and then Daniel Marcos coming off a decently bad, convincing loss to Montel Jackson. Um, I think these guys are both somewhat like similar in their striking. They're both like kind of compact with it and how they move. They're a little bit more north south with their feet, and they're not really like bouncing around as much. Like they do have obviously agility and stuff like that, and have good movement, but I think that they're a little bit more north south, and they're gonna be able to find a lot of exchanges. I think that it's gonna come down to who's the better striker. I think their grappling might be able to cancel out. I think Miles John's gonna have the edge in the wrestling. That's the part where I could see him taking over this fight. But I think on the feet it's Daniel Marcos. And I think that he's going to be able to stuff at least some takedown defenses, but I think he's going to have more of the success in the striking. I think Miles Johns doesn't have enough of a jab like Montel Jackson did to keep him at bay and not let him get into his flow. Miles Johns kind of just floats his jab out there. There's nothing really on it. A lot of his like successful strikes are coming from looping outside shit. So I think Daniel Marcus is going to be able to win on strikes and probably get a decision victory, if I had to guess. How do you feel about this one, Unk?
I think that if Miles Johns wrestles, he can squeeze out a decision win. But overall, I think Daniel Marcos has the more effective striking, and but Miles Johns I think has the better power striking. So I don't think 185 really like does a lot of justice. Who do I think gets their hand raised? I think Daniel Marcos wins, but I definitely think the windows open there for Miles Johns to win a round or two with some takedowns. So Miles Johns minus 180 plus 3.5 his spread on DK is the bet that I'm betting for this fight.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it'll be a close bout. How about you, Hothand?
Yeah, I think this fight is a little closer than I'd say because, like Unc said, that Johns has that wrestling in the back pocket. We just don't know if he's going to utilize it. Because on the feet, like Unc said as well, Johns has the heavier shots, but I think Marcos flows better, has more volume, and he has. I feel like he has more snap on his punches. He doesn't necessarily have more power, but when he throws the one and two, he gets a lot of reactions off of it. So I think Marcos could tag him on the feet, but Johns could get him down with ease if he decides to. So you could go about betting this fight a couple different ways. I do like any over or fight to go to distance, depending on odds. I'm interested in seeing the takedown props for Miles Johns because I think he'll get the takedown easily if he gets a clinch going or if he wants to take it to the mat. So I like a John spread. I like a over, and I do like to take down props for Johns. But when it comes to who's going to win, I lean Marcos. But like I said, if Johns wrestles, Marcos could be in for a long night.
Yeah, this fight's decently exciting. I think it'll be contested, and we might have some live betting opportunities. But we'll keep it pushing to Denise Gomes and Tisa Pennington on a women's fight. Um, this one's most likely going to the distance, but Denise Gomes does have that power, and there's a decently wide age gap here. I said solid veteran square off here. I've seen Denise Gomes fight a couple times, but when I went back and looked at her age, I kind of was like, wow, she's only 25. I feel like I've covered her a couple times already, on podcasts, but she comes in here. I think that these fighters are very decently familiar. Well, not familiar. Similar with their game plan and how they're gonna fight out here. I just think that overall it's gonna go to the edge on Is it going to be the experience, or is it going to be the power? And I think, just overall athleticism from Denise Gomes. I don't know. I think that Denise Gomes' power is what's going to give her the edge in this fight. I'm not trying to really dabble around with uh this one pre-fight. You know how I guys, you know how I usually roll with the women's fights with the live betting. So I'll probably go with a live read. But if I for predictions, well, I'll probably take Denise Gums by decision. But I bet Unc will explain it a whole lot better than I will. Unc.
Sorry, computer lagged up. So, Tisha Pennington's been around for a long time and has fought really the who's who of the women's division, and she's fought in two different divisions. Um, she's really, really good at she's durable. She knows how to not take damage while either winning decisions or losing decisions. And Denise Gomes, Gomez, whatever. Yeah, we've covered her like since we started this, which is only like a year and a half. I feel like we've talked about her so many times, so it's ridiculous that she's fighting again. But Denise Gomez definitely big, strong, sturdy chick. Wow, that's crazy that she's 25 because you're right. She looks like she's in her mid 30s. Keisha Pennington, though, has beaten some of the best and lost to some of the best. So overall, I think that Denise Gomez is gonna like puts Tisha Pennington in some spots that she doesn't want to be in, land heavy shots on her, and is going to win the judge's decision. But I think that this is going to be a split. I don't think Tisha's going to get floored because Tisha's coming off two unanimous decision wins. And I mean, she has momentum. Like, I just don't think like Denise Gomez is gonna come in and like absolutely floor or stop her. So, like, I think Tisha Pennington's spread, which I don't have the odds in front of me. I was looking at it earlier. It was definitely something playable though
It's
for plus
minus
three and a
180.
half.
It's minus 180.
Okay, so that's a play right there. Or if you want to take a decision play, like those split decision plays are like plus they're a lot. Plus 400, plus 500.
If you want to
You
take
can spring.
if you're taking split decision for like just the fight to go split decision, it's plus 250. And if you're taking I don't really know how to take for a girl to win by split. Oh, okay. To win by split decision, Denise plus 450 and Tisha's plus 650.
So that's what I'm doing right there. I think Denise Gomez wins the fight, but I don't think it's a 30-27 times three in any way, shape, or form.
All right. Hothand, how do you feel?
Yeah, with this fight, one thing that really stands out is Pennington's track record. I mean, if you look back and see everyone she's lost to, Gomez is nowhere near that level. Like split decision loss to Rishi, Mackenzie Dern, Zhang Weili, Jessica Andrade, fucking Rose Namajunas. So she's battled with the best, and I don't think Gomez is really on that level. And every single loss she's taken, it's by decision. She's never getting finished. So with that being said, Pennington's spread really interests me. You could do plus 3.5 at minus 180 or plus 5.5 at minus 222. I mean, I like both of those plays. When it comes to who's going to win the fight, I think Gomez, I'm leaning Gomez a little bit. She's younger, she's packing more power, but with Pennington's track record, the better experience, I think her spread is definitely the play to go here.
Yeah, another women's fight. It's gonna be live or spread. It's probably gonna be a contested bout like most of them. We'll keep moving though. We'll go to double debut action where we have Josh Hokit taking on Max Gimenis. Max Gimenis coming from the world of jiu-jitsu, transitioning. I don't really know how he got here. I'm not really too impressed with him. Then Josh Hokit, he's just an athlete. Played wrestled, played football at Fresno State. Was on the 49ers practice squad. And then just got a victory in Dana White Contender Series with a pretty vicious knockout against, I think it was like some blob guy, I forget his name. He got knocked the fuck out, and Josh Hokit was talking crazy. But Josh Hokit, I'm trying to think about. It's just he's a wrestling guy, and this fight overall. I'm not gonna pay minus 425 for him, just because I know Max Gimenis has some pretty wicked jiu-jitsu. He's been in there with all the guys, Gordon Ryan, or that Rodriguez guy. He's been with a lot of the top jiu-jitsu players in the world. Been the Craig Jones Invitational, all that shit. So I'm not really gonna mess around with a wrestler taking on some guy like that. Even though he's some bulky guy, he was 100% on. Cannot tell me he was not on steroids. He has zero gas tank. Like his gas tank might be worse than Mario Breno Silva's, who I'm going to talk about later on today. But Josh Hokit's probably going to knock this dude out, but he's a big bulky guy. I could see him getting some sneaky shit if he gets Josh Hokit to the ground and out. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying that likely. Plus 340 still, but I probably rate Josh Hokit more of like a minus like minus 425, minus 450. Now we're getting a bit wide. And the sub's always likely. I feel you have to take the Max Gimenis sub as like a hedge because the dude's from the BJJ world. Why would you not? He's literally in a gi picture right here, UFC gloves on. So I don't know what else I have to tell you. Double debut action, sketchy, but you know what I'm saying. Hothand, what do you feel?
Yeah, you pretty much covered everything. I don't want to really touch this fight. The money lines are fucking trash. They're both debut. Fucking Hokit's a football player, maybe because he's coming from the NFL. He has some juice on him. I don't know. I don't like the lines on this fight whatsoever. If I were to bet anything, it would be a under if I could get it at a decent price or a finish in round one. I foresee both of these dudes coming out looking for a finish to impress Dana in their debut. Going to be in the apex smaller ring, so not much running and circling. So give me a under or fight to finish in round one.
Unk?
You said look at the guy. He's in a gi wearing UFC gloves in the picture. Dude, listen, this is the easiest minus 185 I'll ever have to pick in my life. Josh Hokit to win by KO or Max Gimenez to win by submission. There's no other. Hokit played in the NFL. He knows nothing about jiu-jitsu. If he tries to
Yeah,
wrestle that man at all, he's going to get put in some shit that he has no idea how to get out of.
he was like a 4-time All
If
American though,
if
wrestler
Max
too.
Gimenez if Max Gimenez tries to act like a bear, Josh Hokit will literally punch his head off. There's no fucking way they make the bell look like that's in Looney Tune Land world because Josh Hokit will get tired way before then, and the jiu-jitsu guy Jimenez will choke him out before
No,
15 minutes,
the
like
Gimenez
because
guy is
he'll
super
have
gassy.
Hokit will have an adrenaline dump. If this goes to the second, if this goes to the third round, I so that's under or my pick is Josh Hokit to win by KO minus 185, Gimenez to win by submission, the double chance because it doesn't happen any other way. Like very very slim chance. Gimenez is on the ground and he can't get a choke, so he gets a TKO. But like that's what's happening here. Now that you brought up Hokit at the Contender Series, yelling and all that, that guy does not know how to conserve energy at all. No way in a million years does this make the bell.
The fight not to start third round was like minus 260 or something. It was about to be my pick for the collab at first, but I didn't want to be really juicy.
Well, now that we're reviewing this fight, there's no fucking way. That he's the one that was yelling, screaming. He's like, yeah, and he was screaming and he was circling, screaming. Yes, I remember the fight. There's no dude, that guy will not last 15 minutes with a guy that was in that tournament with Nicky Rod and Gordon Ryan. There's no so just move on.
Yeah, but I wanted to say though, you said the cardio thing. I will say, well, no, not the grappling. Josh Hokit was like a four-time All-American wrestler or something like that, or All Conference, All Mountain West or something at Fresno State. Uh, so I guess that's some merit for something. But yeah, I agree with the under part.
That's that's good to put in there, but yeah,
All
he's
right,
done sauce to me.
move over to some women's fights, and
Oh
we'll look
my
at
god, yeah,
Jacqueline
Dick. Go
Cavalcanti
ahead, Mike.
taking on Mayra Buena Silva. And the worst gas tank, in my opinion, in the whole UFC, Mario Bueno Silva coming back here, grappling style, but she does have some striking power. Brazilian, normal, crazy, and if you're putting money on her, you sweat until the last second every single time. Every time. Jacqueline Cavalcanti, one of these strikers from the outside, will pick you apart. She does have some decent clinch work. She's more of a wiry girl from the outside who's trying to hit you with different types of strikes on the feet. Overall here, I'm gonna start with Cavalcanti. I think she'll be able to circle, but the apex cage is what's making me worry here. You know how that usually benefits. I don't know if she's gonna be able to circle forever, and Mario Benasilva might be able to get her to the ground. And she's a heavy girl. It seems like with her pressure down there. It does worry me. It's women's fights. You know how I usually rock live. I'm like a broken clock with or a broken record with that shit. But there's not much else to say. Marijuana Silver, I'm never gonna put $1 on her, but in the Apex cage, it's tough to. I'm gonna look at a takedown prop for um live betting, obviously, but I don't like her after. Like you can bet on her, and then 30 seconds later, she's fucking dying, like dying, gasping for air. So I can't do that. I think Cavalcanti's probably going to pick her apart from the outside and win a decision after she gasses, maybe a late finish. But there is a world that Bruno Silva. I think the line's a little bit wide. I think there is a chance Bruno Silva can get her to the ground. I'd probably rate Cavalcanti more of like a -170 favorite rather than like a -250. So take with that as you will. It's not telling me you to bet on Silva, but it's acknowledging that the Apex cage might have some influence in how Cavalcanti circles, in my opinion. How do you feel about this one, Hothand? Because I know you love women's fights.
Indeed, I do love women's fights. I mean, I'm extremely high on Cavalcanti. I think she's a great striker, but I think at some point in her career, she's gonna have to get humbled with her grappling. I mean, she doesn't have much grappling, and I think Silva could exploit that. I mean, in the apex, it's a smaller octagon. I think Silva will be able to cut off the corners, cut off the cage, and trap her and get into clinch attempts, takedowns, whatever it may be. But I think we may see Silva sub Calvacanti. I like that. I think it goes at plus 700. And I see that being the only way Silva wins. And I think it's going to be early if it does happen. So I think a sprinkle at Silva at round one sub and round two sub is definitely very playable here. But if you're putting big cheese on Calvacanti, be warned and be careful because there is a way Silva could sub her.
How about you, Unc?
So, uh, okay, Silva's really big, and we're all like 3/4 in on that. If she wins, it's the sub. She is really big as shit and has like power in her strikes. So there's a there's a thing on DraftKings that says fight parlays, and Myra Silva to win in rounds one or two is plus 650. I'm gonna like lightly sprinkle that. And then my pick is just Calvacanti's money line. I mean, it's minus 250, which is not really good for a straight play, but I kind of like really went into this and dug around with it, and there's nothing under like 200 that I feel comfortable in saying like, "Hey, I think that you should pick this as your pick." So that's the best advice that I could give. But I think Cavalcante will just make Britta Silva really like tired. and just land better shots. And it'll be like the same thing that we watched in how many fights before that. Well, like she just can't get it done. She goes hard as hell from as soon as the bell rings. Her gas tank. Oh, you even have on the gas tank or on the graphics. Worst gas tank in sports is back. It's a great graphic for this fight. Her gas tank's terrible, but her jiu-jitsu is like legitly like crazy good. So there's always the one chance that she can get it. So that's what I'm taking is like her rounds 1 or 2. Because even if she does get the finish, she'll be dead tired by round 3 and won't be able to like squeeze and get it done. In my opinion.
All right. Yep. So
So Cavalcanti money line and Silva rounds 1 or 2 plus 650. Sorry.
yeah. So it's more of a long shot fight. Take it live. Um, I lean Cavalcanti, but the boys already explained why that might be risky. Barcelos versus Ricky Simone coming up next. And it's like a grappling battle here. American versus Brazilian national champion at one point, Rani Barcelos, who's not really known for Brazilians having these high level type of actually grappling, traditional. And then you have Ricky Simone, who has great grappling and has kind of had a resurgence. He's been around for a while. He's even beaten. Didn't he choke out Merab Dvalishvili like twice in like one round? Like
3 times.
yeah,
3 times.
he finished Merab like multiple times in one fight. So you have to always remember that. Like Ricky Simone is deadly. He started off young and now he's starting to come into his own. Coming off a victory, I think it was against Cameron Smotherman in his last fight, where it was a testy fight, talking crazy, toss him around. Got a little tighter than people would have thought. He was a little bit of a wide favorite. Yet that upset went over. Um, oh, which one of them was it? I can see his brother right now, but
Farid. Farid.
yeah, Boschrot, yeah, but knocked him out. Bad. Did him super filthy to show that he has power in his hands too. I think that he's there. And Randy Barcelos obviously took down Peyton Talbot, and then had a fight with Cody Garbrandt that went his way. Um, Early in that first round of that Cody Garbrandt fight, I saw a lot of takedown stuffs. I saw a lot of ugly shots. I didn't like anything on the feet. And like when I'm looking at the fight, I'm like Ricky Simone coming into his own. He has the grappling that's there, and I think he has better takedown stuff than Cody Garbrandt. I know Cody Garbrandt has traditionally good takedown defense, but that's against like a lot of strikers and a lot of guys from back in the day. Not a lot of guys that are just strictly wrestling. Like, well, I guess Ricky Simone's not um, fighting the best wrestlers either, but he has wrestling pedigree, so I don't think he's getting taken down by Randy Barcelos in volume. And if he's not getting taken down, I think he's winning striking exchanges, and he's going to be the fresher guy. I'm going to lean Ricky Simone here for my prediction. I'm decent. I like him a decent amount in this one. Randy Marcellus does still have life in him, and he could come to the scales looking like a demon because you never know what you're getting out of him. Like last fight, it looked like he aged 5 years from his previous one, and then Peyton Talbot fight, we even said it when we saw him in the weigh-ins. We were like, this guy looks like a killer, and he came out and won as a ridiculous underdog. So you got to see how he looks at the weigh-ins and how good of shape he is because he's getting up there in age, near 40 or at 40. Um, but Ricky Simone, my pick. Probably gonna take him by decision. You're getting a little bit over plus money. Him in round 2 to start. You're softening it to a little bit like -115, -120. So that's probably where I'm gonna go. How about you, Unc?
I mean, I'm same. Ricky Simone, man, he's bringing it home. Pretty Ricky. He came through for me and us with the Smotherman fight. I don't remember what I was doing with the Bashrat. I was probably on Bashrat, honestly, and I was probably pissed that
We
he
took his spread.
won.
We took
So
Simone's spread.
Yeah, we took Simone's spread for that. Yeah.
okay, and he got flatlined. All right, so Pretty Ricky, man, he that's the pick that I saw earlier in the week I checked. Like you said, Mike, him by decision is like plus 100 or around there, even up money. I think Simone wins the decision. I think I honestly think he's better and but what's this guy's name? Barcelona or whatever
Barcelos,
or what's this guy's name?
Ronnie
Fucking
Barcelos.
Barcelos. I honestly think that Ricky Simone is better than Barcelos, and I know who he is. I just fucking fuck names up sometimes. I think he's better than him in wrestling, grappling, striking, and submissions. I just think he's a better fighter than him. I do. Yeah, I like Barcelos had his moments against the names that we said, and he did come through as an underdog in some of those fights that I didn't think he would, but Ricky Simone is the move right now, man. And you said Barcelos is how he's 40,
Like damn near.
right?
Hold on, let me get that up, bro.
38. He's 38.
All right, so yeah, Payne Talbot shit the bed. Cody Garbrandt's old, and I don't consider anything that he does as quality anymore. And you got Quinenos, who Christian Quinenos or whatever, and he hasn't done shit in the UFC. So like, I just think this is Pretty Ricky's. I think Pretty Ricky should be higher. So Ricky Simone money line.
How about you, Hothand?
Yeah, I mean, Simone's wrestling background is like the biggest thing for me in this fight because I think he's easily going to be able to contest and stuff all Barcelos takedowns. The thing that scares me though is that Simone isn't really the most active on the feet, and I could foresee a very boring fight with fucking Macaroni Barcelos fucking just out voluming him, and then Ricky just looking for those big overhand shots that he puts people out with. So as I do foresee uh Roni fucking out voluming him and winning a decision, I think 9 times out of 10 that Simone is going to be able to take him down, work his clinch in, and actually want to exchange with him. So I do like Simone here in this spot. I think he's going to work his wrestling and takedowns into this fight and let the hands go. I think at minus 170, I think that's good odds for him. I think, like Mike said, he's coming to a new stage in his career where he's starting to turn it up. He's been in the UFC long enough where he has the experience the same as these 38-year-olds, that have been in the game forever. So give me Simone at minus 170. I really wouldn't play with a double chance here because I could foresee a victory by decision, sub, or knockout. But I think Simone at minus 170 is your best bet. Or if you want to play it safe, you could always take decision or fight to go to distance as well, as I think these guys will most likely cancel out.
Yeah, we'll keep it pushing. We got Hyder and Miller taking on Jamal Emmers here, in what should be a pretty crash out style battle. Jamal Emmers is looking to put some pace on you and draw some strong power fists on you, even though he's more of a slow type of move forward guy. And then you have Hyder Amil, who's all gas, no brakes. He's most likely getting a finish or he's getting finished. And that's usually how he approaches this shit. He's coming off of a finish loss where he got absolutely incinerated by a knee. He is also in the Apex again, and I'm pretty sure we said that in the last fight that he wouldn't be able to get away from Delgado. I don't think that's like the same in this bout because Jamal Emmett doesn't have as much besides the hands. I don't really see his like kick game or knee game coming out and knocking out Hyder and Mel. But I could say that I do think this fight's gonna end inside the distance. I do think this fight's gonna end by knockout. I could see either of these guys getting knocked out. I'm probably gonna take Jamal Emmett to get knocked out. It's gonna be more of a volume thing for me. I think Hyder Mel's gonna be able to outpace him. I think Hyder Mel could win by decision too if it really came down to it, if you couldn't really put him out. I do think Jamal Emmers could put Hyder Mill at that. I do think that Hyder Mill gets a little reckless, and he could get clipped. So I'm trying to look right now at method of victory by knockout. I don't have it in my notes. Let me pull this shit up. Um, yeah, method of victory by knockout is minus 160 on FanDuel. Mess around on DraftKings and you put that in the same game parlay, you can get that around even money. If you do like method of victory, knockout, and over a half round, that shit'll get you to like damn near plus money. I guarantee that. That's probably where I'm gonna go with it. I think someone's getting slept. maybe sprinkle with like Hyder Mill by decision as like a hedge play because that'll probably be good. Looking at that as a hedge play by decision is plus 420. So yeah, that's an EG edge. That's how probably I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna side Hyder Mill, but I just told you probably how I'm gonna play the fight. Uh, how do you feel about this one, Hothand?
Yeah, Amil's my lock of the card. I mean, solely based off the fact this dude's an apex demon. He does not lose in the apex. I mean, he's short and he doesn't have a long reach, so being in a smaller octagon really benefits him. He has a crazy pace and crazy cardio. He puts pressure on you, wears you down, and then eventually finds the finish on you. And we called out that fight against Delgado. It wasn't in the apex where, like, Delgado is a demon. He has reach. He has good striking. Not in the apex. So fade him. But in this spot, back in the apex, I can't fade Amil. I mean, Emmers is a crash out as well. These guys are both finisher fighters. So I could foresee a finish on either side. But I think Amil is going to be on the better side of it. I think Amil's too good to lose to someone like Emmers. And if you look at Emmers' record, I mean, his most impressive things is losing split decisions to Jack Jenkins and Giga Chikidze. Everyone else he beat is pretty fucking canny, like Gabriel Miranda. So give me a mill, especially at minus 140. I like this pick a lot. I do think he sleeps Emmers, but I could foresee a clinch. He works in the takedowns again and finds out a decision. But I do think the money line on a mill side is definitely the best play here.
Punk.
Jamil Emmers, unless like I am so after doing my research for this fight, this is one of the fights that I'm looking forward to the most because I want to see how bad and how fraudulent Jamil Emmers is. So I went back and for my research for this, I did some notes, right? Emmers record. He beat Gabriel Miranda, okay? That's like half-ass win.
And he got taken
The
down a couple
rest of
times
his
in that fight too.
and it got, and got taken down like the rest of his wins are literally against a bunch of fucking nobodies. And then like okay, he beat this Oshkabov guy. Googled him and looked him up. That guy hasn't fought MMA since 2023. He fought in the UFC one time. He has like a 23-1 record that Jamil Emmers beat this guy. Like, so where the hell did they find this like random guy with a 23-1 record? But Jamil Emmers gave him the one loss. Like what? His other win was against Bazooka or whatever. It was in the first round, and they threw 100 strikes in 50 seconds and cracked each other. He lost to Nate Landwehr. Dude, I think Jamil Emmers really is. They fed him to Giga because no one else would take the fight. I think he was a replacement for that fight. That was COVID. Like, I think Jamil Emmers is really bad. I think he's gonna get horribly fraudulently checked, and Hyder Mill is gonna smash him. Hyder Mill money line all the way. If not by finish, which I don't have odds in front of me, but definitely playing Hyder my mill, Hyder Amil, freaking whatever by finish in a couple different ways.
Yep. So we'll keep pushing on that. But you heard what they're pretty strong on Hyder and Mel. We're all pretty much thinking that this fight's gonna end. We'll move over to Christian Leroy Duncan taking on Marco Tulio. And this fight I'm pretty excited for. Striker's delight. Um, and these are guys that are gonna come out and crack you, and they have pause, but come out and crack you with their striking, and put on a show. Um, with their diverse striking and how Christian Leroy Duncan he has unique striking, and so does Marco Tulio. Tulio coming from he's a fighting nerd, isn't he? Is he not a fighting nerd?
Shoot the box.
Shoot a
Shoot the
box, yeah,
box.
shoot a box. That's what it was. Yeah, I knew I was wrong when I said that. But then Christian Leroy Duncan, obviously from England, but he has some pedigree. You've seen him around, and he's fought some cans recently. You saw him have that exciting knockout over Eric Andrews recently. On his way out. Marco Tulio uh cashed us at plus money His last time by knockout. It was a knockout method at plus money. Pretty sure it was in Miami. He slept um Gore, Deshaun Gore, and Trayshawn Gore, and he got dropped like 2 times in the first round. So it was very sweaty. He has holes in his striking offense. I think he tries to be a little bit more showboaty. He does have extreme power, and he has nice like wheel kicks, and obviously the shooter box style of striking and the pressure that you're gonna expect from them. But Christian Leroy Duncan is a little bit more technical, slow, but he could ramp up the pressure and put it on you. He does have a little bit of grappling in his game too. I think these guys are going to be throwing, and I think they're going to be throwing enough that someone's going to end up getting put out. My overall play for here is going to be an under or method of victory knockout. Fight not to go the distance is like minus 130. I like these guys are both coming off finishes. Like Marco Tulio almost got finished in his last fight to someone who has way less technical striking than Christian Leroy Duncan, especially in the weird angles and stuff. And then you're telling me they're gonna go 15 minutes, and like I only think that reason that the method of victory by knockout would be met would scare me is if somehow one of them get dropped and then subbed because obviously Shooter Box has their BJJ acumen. Obviously Tulio is more of a striker, and then Christian Leroy Duncan does only have one sub on his resume, but these guys are professionals and they could be gassed late second round and get dropped and then subbed. But I think someone's getting slept here. I don't know. I like Tulio. I think the line should be a little closer because his striking defense is a little bit shoddy. I think the hype in the name is what's rising the price a little bit. I think this fight more of a pick 'em. Um, I think his power might be a little bit too much for Duncan, so I'm gonna side with them on a prediction. But I don't think I'm gonna be paying minus 185 price on his money line. I think the value is in Christian Leroy Duncan here at plus 160 ish. Uh, but I do side with Tulio. I think that Christian Leroy Duncan could be able to capitalize where Trayshawn Gore wasn't able to and find a couple strikes, but at the same time, he could also get his chin taken off too. I'm siding with a method of victory knockout. I'm just saying this fight should be great to watch. How about what do you think about this one, Unc?
So I think Christian Leroy Duncan is slow and like tactical. I don't think he does anything really that's like stupendous. I think that he does everything pretty like average or equal. He's a good fighter. Marco Tulio has finishing ability. Um, whether he puts pressure on and tries to implement that, we'll see. But I just think like the quick, easy pick here is Tulio money line because I don't. I can see Christian Leroy Duncan winning a split decision, but honestly, I can't see him finishing Tulio. I don't think like he would maybe if you had him against the cage and grinded him down and caught him with some lucky stuff. But I think that it's way more likely for Tulio to get a finish here. But overall, I think that it's going to be Tulio by decision. Like my pick of what I think is Tulio money line, and then if you want to go a little bit deeper, is Tulio wins by decision. So
Hot hand.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on Tulio, but stylistically, I don't like this matchup for him. He's on the shorter end of this fight, so he's going to have to be trying to fight past the reach. Where last fight, he was able to stand there and just stay out of the reach of Tresean Gore since he had the reach advantage, and he was able to sit there, pick his shots, put him against the cage, and just unload in little bursts of power shots and fucking spinning kicks and whatnot. But I think CLD, he has good technical striking, and I think that may impose a threat here for Tulio. Like you said, Mike, I don't like the odds on here. Personally, I would have thought CLD would have been the favorite, but Tulio has the hype. He's the newer prospect. He's been finishing people, so I guess that's why. But I don't like this fight betting on any money line. I do like KO only for Tulio. I could see CLD just staying on the bicycle this fight, staying on the outside, using his reach, and just trying to hit Tulio and then keep moving. But I could see also CLD implementing a wrestling game here because Tulio does have nice power and he does have fluid striking. So with that being said, I would take Tulio KO only, depending on the odds there, and I'll have to see when odds come out what CLD's takedown prop is. But I don't feel comfortable here betting on Tulio at -185.
Julio knockout only is -160 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I think that's pretty nice as a lay piece as well. I'm not gonna lie at -160. I mean, I think it's playable as a straight too, just to get some change up, but I don't like playing Tulio money line here whatsoever.
Yeah, we'll keep it pushing. And we got Ismail Bonfim taking on Chris Padilla. Taco coming off a split decision win over Herbert. Bonfim, fraudulent checked. He looked good. He's a fast starter, and he's coming out here like his brother. He has grappling, he has clinch work, he has a little bit of striking game. It's fast paced striking. He has kicks and shit, but Chris Padilla is more of a slow guy. Stands there, he'll counter. He has wrestling. He has the striking. He'll get into wars, but not. I don't see him more of as a pacing force as much as Ismail Bonfim is going to come out the gate and come to him. I think that Chris Padilla is going to be able to counter him and at least stay on the feet and be able to stuff some of the clinch scenarios. And if he can outlast Bonfim in like the first 4 minute burst that he's going to come out with, I think that he's going to be able to. I think he's going to be able to take over and possibly get a decision when Bonfim does, I think, have the finishing potential in this fight, and I would not be surprised at all if he gets the finish. I was surprised that he's like a -200 favorite, but his brother's on the card. I think one of them has to win, one of them has to lose. So I know people are on Randy Brown. Um, so maybe he's the one who wins and the other one loses, but I think one of them's losing. Uh, and I think that it might be him. Chris Padilla, +165, I think has decent value. His spread also has decent value. Um, that's probably where I'm gonna side. He has a decent win streak too. I'm surprised. I think this fight's way more even, if I had to say so myself. Cause I think Jai Herbert might be able to knock Bonfim out. How do you feel about this one, Unk?
Man, uh, both Bonfim brothers on the same card. Let's talk about that. If they both get wins, that'll be historic. But uh man, I really think it just comes down to here that who can manage the striking better. These guys, they're both good strikers. They both can, put it together and get people out. Padilla, I think, has better power. Um, but I think Bonfim is more technical. Um, I don't know, man. I really think. See, I'm way more confident in the older Bonfim brother than this fight because I can see Chris Padilla winning a knockout in this, but it's gonna rely on what type of fight does Bonfim want to fight because I feel if Bonfim is like slow and like methodical and does everything right, he should pull the W out, no problem. But I think because the brothers are fighting on the card, there may be like some ambition there to want to get a finish. And if he rushes in on Padilla, he could easily get caught and get put out. Um, but like his record is a little bit more split than the older brothers when it comes to like KOs and subs. Uh, this Bonfim Ismail is a little bit like more rounded, like with striking and grappling, like I said, as I feel the older brother is more with just like straight grappling. So I think it's Bonfim can win by KO or sub if he wants, as long as he fights his fight. But if he doesn't and tries to be overzealous, I think Chris Padilla can win with a knockout. So I'm gonna take Bonfim. Uh, I'm either gonna take his money line or possibly whatever his decision only prop is, the one where or his I'm sorry, his finish only, like Bonfim by finish only, and then if he doesn't get the finish, it voids, is minus 145, like maybe something like that. So I think this is Ismail Bonfim's fight to lose.
Yep. And Hothand. Hothand. There.
My bad, my shit was muted. But yeah, I'm not very high on the Bonfim brothers. I mean, they have very good uh BJJ and grappling and whatnot. But I think Padilla is very well rounded, and I think he does pack a lot of power and diverse finishes. You know, you could do it either way. But the thing that scares me, they have both of the brothers on the card. Are they going to lean towards him? I mean, it's a small octagon, so I could see Bonfim starting early and backing him against the cage and unloading and finding an early finish. But I'm not very confident on either money line here. The value is on Padilla. I don't know if I'm gonna play it yet. I feel this fight is more of a live bet type of fight to see, but I don't think this fight goes the distance. I think it's either Bonfim early with a finish or Padilla gets one later in the fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting fight, definitely in my opinion. And we'll keep it pushing to another exciting fight. We have Muslim Salikhov taking on Euros Medic, and Medic. The typical story with him, he's either knocking someone out or he's getting brutally chinned. He backs up with his head so high and his chin is glass. He almost got slipped in his last fight, but Urbina somehow spawned back from the flash knockout to get up and get his own finish. Muslim Salikov's the king of spinning, king of Sonda or whatever. His Sonda, it's like a Chinese or Asian style of striking, fighting, but it's
I
legit.
never heard of it.
Yeah, well, it's legit, and he's a pretty deadly striker. He has all those kicks in his game. You saw that in his last crazy knockout over Carlos Leal. Busted a lot of people's tickets in that fight. He's done it before. He's really only gotten put down by Randy Brown with one of those 1-2s, but he's he's pretty deadly in his own right, and I think he does have some problems for Euros Medic in this one. I think the line's a bit close because of his last upset finish over Leal. Shows that his striking is legitimate. Euros Medic can't be doing that backup shit, but I do think the height difference too might um play something here. Um, I like Medic lightly here. I think he can be able to stay on the outside and not catch like an overhand to get caught with the chin, but at the same time, Muslim Salikhov is a extremely high level striker, like world class level striker, and against a guy who's chinny, it's always going to be live for him to get slept. I'm going to side with Medic, but like I said before, he backs up with his chin held straight up high. If Muslim, it's not hard for a world class striker. If he backs him up and catches him at the tip of his chin, it's over with. He can't flash knockout like he does every other time. So take with that as you will. I'm just saying maybe Euros Medic isn't a 10 unit play or fucking hammer of the night, but I do like him in this fight. How about you, Unk?
So I like Eurosmetic just because Solokhov 2 years old now, and I think that with his age, he's gonna lose like a step of quickness, and Medic's gonna have the quicker strike and be able to get the knockout. He also Medic, I believe, is Southpaw and Muslim. Salikhov is Orthodox, and or it's reversed. But I think Medic wins the fight because he's going to be quicker to the punch. But like that's just me picking a winner for the fight. This is just like how do you play? How do you want to play and not go the distance? However, a person out there finds the best way to play this thing to not go the distance at the highest value. That's what I'm encouraging because this shit is not gonna see the bell. Like Solokhov has like all these crazy different spinning attacks and weird kicks and stuff he does. And Medic, like I said, is just going to be quicker with the strikes and quicker to the punch. And he has and I think he has 14 fights and he doesn't have one decision on his whole freaking thing. So the man's just coming to fight. So like I don't have anything prepared here as like a straight bet, but however you find the highest value for this thing to not see the judges, that's what you want to pick.
Yep. Hothand.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Muslim at this point. He had two back-to-back knockout wins. Both I fucking faded him both times. So I think I'm done fading Muslim here, but I'm not very confident in Medic either. I don't think he's a good fighter, but he is a finisher, you know. He gets finished or he finishes. So with that being said, with Muslim's age, you know, Medic's packing power. I could foresee a finish on either side. You know, Muslim he is losing that speed as he's getting older, but he ain't losing his technique. You know, he's been doing this shit for probably fucking 30 years now. So I like this under in this spot because I think we could see Medic try and wrestle Muslim. I mean, with Muslims striking accolades and you know everything he's accomplished outside of the UFC and whatnot, I don't think that would be a bad decision, and I could foresee Medic by sub. I don't think that's a crazy, you know, out of the fucking world uh, outcome, but I do like a under in this fight. I do think Muslim's getting older. I think his chin's wearing. I think Medic has a lot of power to sleep him and so foresee Medic fucking trying to make this a firefight and Muslim sleeping him. So I think the best bet here in this fight would be a under.
Yep, we'll keep it pushing. And we got the co-main event: Joseph Morales taking off Matt Schnell. Morales, victor of the Ultimate Fighter, upsetting a very talented fighter that we were on, that Abiris guy. I was surprised when he got finished. I'm pretty sure Morales was a very wide underdog and got it done by submission. Now he's taking on veteran Matt Schnell. This fight's pretty much handed to him. I'm surprised that he's getting a co-main event spot here on his debut. It's saying a lot that the UFC likes the guy. Minus 400 off the jump opening. Matt Schnell has been in the UFC for a decent amount of time. He has fought some guys. I'm not high and I'm not going to talk too much of him. But I think Morales is going to be able to employ pretty much his will almost everywhere on the feet in the grappling range. And I think that he's just more fresh of a guy, has more speed, and I think he's going to get Matt Schnell out of there. I like Morales by finish. Morales on the money line. I don't Morales on the money line minus 400. I'm not going to tell you to take that, even though I do think he's high probability of winning. Um, it's just a debut guy. You can't really put too much stake in him. I want to see him really perform. And this, I don't think Matt Schnell even is as good as the guy he just beat in the Contender Series. If I'm being honest, so I'm gonna side with Joseph Morales by finish. Um, Hot end.
Yeah, I think they're giving Morales a gimme fight to build him. He's probably, if I had to guess, he's probably out from the West where this card is. So that's probably why they're giving him the co-main spot. But Schnell has the worst chin in the UFC. Like his chin is fucking non-existent. I could see Morales KO or sub. I could see a ground and pound. Morales has very, very impressive wrestling in BJJ. He's very slick at it. He's good with what he does. And I foresee a finish here over Matt Schnell. I feel this is a build me fight for Morales. Get some hype on him. And no bigger way they get a finish in a co-main event here. So give me Morales. I mean, I don't think that you should load up on him and throw like fucking 4 units on him and someone else in a two-legger. But I do think if you take a finish on him, you know, KO or sub, and mix it with something else, I think that's worth playing here.
Unk.
So, yeah, Matt Schnell's the guy that Jimmy Flick, who I I love Jimmy Flick and I'm familiar with him, but he's not the best MMA fighter. In his last fight, he literally like he lost the match Schnell, but he took him down a shitload of times. I mean, it like I made a case that Jimmy Flick was going to win the fight. I think Matt Schnell is really bad. Joseph Morales will either wrestle him to death and do whatever he can end the fight however he wants on the ground, or he'll flatline him on the feet. So give me Joseph Morales by finish.
Yep. So we'll go to the comment or the main event with that. We got Gabriel Bonfim taking on Randy Brown. Um, Randy Brown is obviously it's pretty much a striker versus grappling matchup here, and Bonfim coming off his controversial win over Wonderboy. I thought he lost the fight, but we move on here and he's headlining, and then you have Randy Brown knockout in his last fight. Getting a decently strong fight this last couple, and you know he's been around for a while, so he's ready for this. Obviously, I think he has the advantage on the feet with his crisp boxing. He does have good jiu-jitsu, um, well, decent jiu-jitsu and decent grappling and takedown defense. Bonf is obviously going to be tested here against Bonfim, who's going to be looking against the ground, against the cage, and looking to take his back and get submissions in. Has Von Flute chokes, has weird stuff in his arsenal as well, so there's always going to be a threat for him to get a finish. Um, which is what I'm going to side with. I think Bonfim's going to be able to get a submission. Yeah, with the 5 round fight, I think this is not going the distance. I think he's going to get a submission. Randy Brown's going to have the striking advantage, but I don't think he's going to be able to threaten the movement of Bonfim, the pressure of Bonfim, like Wonder Boy did because of the kicks. What Randy Brown's not throwing as crazy as kicks. He's more of a top heavy like boxing style. He does throw kicks, but they're not Wonder Boy kicks. So I don't think it's going to threaten the same way on the feet how Gabriel Bonfim was doing chicken dance. I think there is a chance that Randy Brown could find a 1-2 down the pipe. Obviously, there's more than a puncher's chance. That's why the odds are close. But I'm gonna side with Gabriel Bonfim to get a finish. Um, yeah, that's what I'm gonna side with. We're an under. That's really what's here. Gabriel Bonfim takedown prop. I think that I just saw them come out. We get that up real quick. Uh, right here, over 2.5. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't like it.
5 rounds.
And that's just based off because Brown is a lot taller. It's hard to get these lengthy guys down. It's hard to get around their waist and it's hard to get them down. But then when you do get them down, there's so much extra limb to intertwine like your hooks in, or you know what I mean? When you take the back, it's easier to stay on them. So I think he's going to be presented with a challenge taking him down. But I think if he does get Brown down, he's not getting back up.
Yeah. Um. Well, take over then. How do you feel?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
I'm I'm on Brown on this fight. I think Bonfim holds a very dangerous grappling threat, but I think Brown's height is gonna be the difference here. You know, I have a long background in wrestling, and nothing is worse than wrestling someone that has inches on height on you. You know, they have long fucking wingspans. You know, they have long limbs. It's harder to get them down. It's harder to control them. Now, I think if like I said just before, if Bonfim gets Brown down, I think Brown is going to be fucked. I think Bonfim more than likely works a sub in or takes the back. but I think that Brown is going to be able to stuff majority of these takedowns, just like Wonder Boy did. I think Bonfim, or not Bonfim, I think Brown's going to be winning the exchanges on the feet. I think he has to stay on the bicycle, throw the jab, throw the straights out, and I think he has a decent fight IQ. I think he's going to know what his opposition is packing here, that he's a straight grappler. So give me Brown in this spot. I think the value's on him. I think he also has the better cardio and endurance for a 5-rounder. So give me Brown, especially at plus numbers here.
All right. I'll close this out for the card.
So okay. Okay. I think Gabriel Bonfim either wins by sub or Randy Brown wins by KO. I think that's your two things that are going to happen here. That double chance bet is minus 160. But a really weird thing is going on DraftKings where both of their spreads are 13. Well, no, I guess. Well, no, that
What's a 5-round fight?
are 5 rounds. Are they always 13.5?
No, usually like I think they start them at like what 5.5, but it's probably because
Like they
they think it's gonna be a finish that they start them hot at the top. At the top, it's like the Del
right.
Val
So
fight started at 7.5.
right. So we have these. You have these outrageous spreads, 13.5. So you can play around with that and pick one of those and see what you want to what you want to do with that. Um, but overall, I don't think that they're gonna go to the judges. Randy Brown gets better as the fight goes on. Like all of his finishes were like late second and third rounds, and his striking volume but he has a heavy striking volume, but it goes up as the fight goes on. So definitely can see Randy Brown KO here. Uh, and Gabriel Bonfim is just a different level on the ground. So I can definitely see a sub from him. Now, the question is if they did go to the judges, who would win by a decision? I think Brandy Brown would be more athletic to be able to fight off the takedowns and put punches on Bonfim so that he would win in a decision. So I would take Brown if it were to go to the judges. But like I said, I don't think they're going to make it the full 25 minutes. So
I
I'm taking that
also
double. What did you say, Hothand?
I thought you were done, but I was gonna say also fucking Brown's home country of Jamaica just got squad wiped, so he's definitely looking to put on for his country.
That
Yeah.
was
So
a crazy way to describe it.
no, it's So yeah, no, I don't got nothing else though. But that's how I see it going. Is either Bonfim, wrestles him down in the second, third, maybe fourth, gets a sub, or Andy Brown starts picking up the pace, putting the volume on, and by the third, fourth round, he is Bonfim all busted up, and he gets him out of there.
All right, well that closes up the card. Before I move on to the collab, we'll bring up the feature pick. Mike Turrell cashed his last week with Kwamba in a
Oh, shout
split
out Leak.
decision.
Leak was in the comments. We never gave him a shout out. Shout out Leak.
But yeah, he won the feature pick last week, so he's running it back again this week. Um, he has selected Hyder Moneyline as his featured pick. Uh, so there you go. He's on a little streak there. I think that's 2 or 3 in a row for him. And Casher, if he cashed his before that, but he just didn't answer before. So the featured pick is on like a 4 or 5 pick win streak. So happening with these guys, man. They're cashing their signal straight, and we're trying to give it these longer odds parlays, and we're fighting for our lives over here on these parlays, but they'll pay off. I didn't do this during the middle of the thing, but you guys already know the drill. Discord in the description. Free to join. Almost 800 members. We're cashing in every sport. Long term tracked verified plays. Cappers in the top ranks of almost every sport on Picket. And if you want to get a little bit deeper, we have Fade Plus and MMA Gems. So that's if you want to take it to the next level. But no one, no one's asking you to. Just know the money's there. Get right or get left per usual, and we'll move on to the Gem Collab. This one's plus 568 on FanDuel, and we got Hyder. We have Mike Turrell taking over for Mo this week. Couldn't get in touch with him. Mo, too busy celebrating Mumdani's victory over in New York. But we have a little four-leg action here, plus 568 on FanDuel. Hyder Amil from Hothand, Salikhov and Medic, round 3 not to start. For Unk, that's around minus 290. I took the Shadow Realm Tulio Duncan fight to end via KO. And then we have Mike's play, Cavalcanti. He had the over 1.5, but FanDuel didn't have that in the style he wanted in the parlay. So round 2 to start, substitute just around the same odds anyway. So get a plus 568. I took mine at plus 110. Try to get us a little bit more juiced up and get it to under or fight not to go the distance at minus 130 as well. That busts you down to like plus 460. So I think it's going to end by knockout. So you might as well get a little risky since you're getting on a parlay here. But besides that, um, per usual, thank you guys for joining. Um, it's always been a pleasure. Hope to cash again. Then we have another great card coming up on the horizon for next week. So let's hope to get another green card and be at the cash counter.